Good morning, everyone, and welcome into the Bozard Ford studio for the St. Johns County Show that's on in the morning. We have the county commissioners deciding against a new ordinance for e-bikes. A 2017 death spurs a federal language proficiency bill. I can say it, guys. The Florida Legislature gives the green light for a redesign of a popular exit off I-95. St. Augustine close to finishing the City Hall waterproofing project, and a local sues Universal for being stuck on a ride. We'll get to all that and more, but first, we want to thank Bozard Ford. Since 1949, Bozard Ford Lincoln has been more than just a dealership. It's a local legacy built on trust, family values, and a commitment to doing things the right way. Proudly serving St. Augustine and beyond for over 75 years, Bozard offers award-winning service, unbeatable selection, and a state-of-the-art facility with 91 climate-controlled service bays, a quick lane for no appointment needed maintenance, and even Ford's Garage restaurant right there on site. Recognized with a Triple Crown Award, the President's Awards, Bozard Ford is where hometown service meets national excellence. Great pricing, friendly faces, and a better buying experience are just off I-95 and State Road 16. Bozard Ford Lincoln, they are driven to inspire. Also, a big shout out to all of our amazing sponsors: Vitus Roofing, Old Town Trolley, Bin 39 Wine Bar, BNS Signs, Chiba Hut Toasted Subs, St. Augie's Pizza, Chris Lucero Bail Bonds, and St. Augustine Handy Houses. Support all of our wonderful sponsors and support us with your likes, comments, and shares. Find us on YouTube and help us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers. You can also find us on Rumble, where you can follow us as well. You can help us get Troy a new lint roller this week with those Facebook stars. We couldn't be more happy for them. Don't forget that our app is always getting better, and it's in the Apple App Store. Download it today. Get all of those spicy commissioner meetings. All right. Good morning, everybody.
Hey, happy Thursday.
It is Thursday.
It's weekend eve.
It is weekend eve.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Excited about it.
Yeah. You sound excited.
Excited. So I decided where I want to go. I'm going somewhere this weekend. They're doing something exciting and thrilling. I don't know what.
I've done something the past 2 weekends, so I just want to be home this weekend.
That's exciting.
I'm good. I just want to be home. I'm trying to get all my work done so I can just chill this weekend. That's all I want to do.
Yeah. The way our house is, it's probably quieter when we go away somewhere than it is actually being in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. We live loud.
Live loud. A lot of people. Historic house.
We have the shirt that proves it. It says that we live loud. So I have that shirt.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's
join
loud.
the family.
It's loud in our house. So
it's loud in our house too.
Yeah.
We're loud people.
Yeah.
How you doing, Blake? You living loud?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
Yay.
You look so happy. How those allergies treat you?
Just smile through the pain. Just smile through the pain.
We love that. It's a little more optimistic than yesterday.
Yeah.
The rain's not helping the allergies.
That's what I don't understand. He's getting. I had like a little frog in my throat, and it's gone now. I was working through it before the show.
Yeah.
I sounded like Froggy from Little Rascals.
Okay, we don't judge.
Yeah. Not in front of me. But yeah, Blake's been very puffy-eyed and sinusy.
Are you allergic to water?
No.
Not that he knows of.
No.
I take showers.
I had a friend in college that said she was allergic to everything except water. But then she would eat the apple pie, and she was supposedly allergic to apples. I don't know.
Oh, my gosh.
Allegedly.
Yeah. What was it? You remember the TV show How I Met Your Mother?
Yes.
And the guy on the show, like his mom said, "Oh, you're allergic to this, you're allergic to that." And it wasn't until he was an adult he realized she just didn't want him to eat all these bad things.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard in real life, I've heard stories like that. So I really wonder, people that are completely convinced as children that they're allergic, how many of them, they just didn't want the fight with their kid. So they just told them that they're allergic. Like only boys are allowed to eat McDonald's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Only boys are allowed to eat McDonald's. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. That's what I heard.
Everybody knows that.
Do we have a question of the day?
The question of the day is, can you describe your worst haircut?
Oh, it's dramatic.
Your worst. I want to feel the pain come through on this haircut.
All right.
Mine was pretty horrible.
So I have a tendency to grow my hair just really, really long,
Mhm.
mostly because I don't like haircuts. And after I got married, I did the thing that women tend to do is they grow their hair really long to be a bride, and then they chop it off within 6 months really short. And so I had done that, and I liked the haircut, and I went to get it redone, but I didn't go to the same lady.
Oh.
And she gave me like the Karen stack in the back,
Mm-hmm.
but left these hairs really long. So it looked like I had dog ears.
Oh.
Because my hair, the lighter it gets, the more curly it gets. And so it was super curly back
So
here.
you didn't go in and ask for the Basset Hound?
No.
Oh.
But that's what she gave me.
She gave you the Basset Hound.
And you couldn't tell because she blew dry it straight, and I was never going to wear it straight.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go home, immediately wash my hair, and then all of this curls in the back, and then I just have these 2 straight pieces that were thick. And so I totally cried and called Debbie's Day Spa, used to be on the island.
Yeah.
And they fit me in because I had to go meet my mother-in-law's family in Nicaragua in like 48 hours.
Oh, you hadn't met them yet. This is like the first meeting.
First time I was going to meet them.
Oh my gosh! And you don't want to have Basset Hound hair.
I don't want to have Basset. I'm the gringa going to Nicaragua, and I don't want to look like hideous. And so they fit me in. And
just think if you had went there and they like love you no matter what. And they're like, oh, that's the hairstyle in America, and you go back and they all have the Basset Hound.
It's the newest trend.
They would just thought you were so hip and cool.
Yeah.
You know, you're the dolphin trainer, and you know you would have been hip and cool. And they're like in Nicaragua, and they're like, this is how they do it in America.
The first time in my life I'm hip and cool and setting trends, and it would be that one.
Basset Hound.
So they did fix it, but I ended up with much, much shorter hair than I expected. I expected kind of like Chenling, and it was much shorter. But it worked out. It grew out. It's hair. I did meet mixed reviews in Nicaragua. I was welcomed very lovingly by many of her family. And then one of her sisters just looked at me. Oh, hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Can I get you a bottle of water?
Yeah.
Didn't go well.
Yeah.
Blake, how about you?
I think I actually gave myself like a self haircut one time, like when I was in like preschool. What was my cheap ass scissors?
Yeah. I think you had a little jaggedy thing,
Scissors.
and you know, not to call Blake out because he grew into his head, but at that time, Blake had a big old bobblehead. It was like it was adorable. I'll show you a picture. I'll bring a picture.
All right.
We're gonna have to show the picture of you first day of school, but his head just didn't fit his body.
Okay.
You know, it's still adorable.
He's got famous person
But
head.
then he had that little V, the kids that cut their own hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had that at that point. So,
Sexy.
yeah, and even at that age, he's like, "This don't look good.
This ain't right."
this don't look good." So, well, my bad haircut experience is when I played baseball at Seminole. I played at Seminole Community College before I came to Flagler, and we had a very military type coach, and we had to get a haircut every at the beginning of every month.
Yeah.
And I hadn't got my hair cut. So I was just like, screw this. I'm just going to go to my aunt, and my aunt will cut my hair. My Aunt Donna, she's no longer with us. I love her, but you know, Aunt Donna, I'm sorry I'm telling this story. She's probably like, I'll get you for this, Troy. And so she starts cutting my hair. Well, in the back, she got a little uneven.
Yeah.
The problem was she kept trying to get it more even.
Yeah.
And by the time it got going, it was completely shaved off. So I had like a really bad Moe haircut that came up too high. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like a Moe. I mean, you know, from the Three Stooges, like that Moe with the little bowl, but it was completely white right there.
Yeah.
And you know, and she actually started to cry. I was like, it's gonna grow out. It'll be fine. And you know, but it was so bad. I have a rule that people over the age of 10 shouldn't wear their hats backwards, their ball caps backwards. Yeah. And I had to wear my ball cap backwards to hide my neck, partially to protect my neck, but also to hide how horrible the haircut was.
Awesome.
So, yeah. So.
I have definitely been the mom who was trying to get, like during the time in 2020 we don't talk about, I cut my kid's hair. And my oldest daughter had always wanted short hair. She had a friend who had stick straight hair, which she does not have. and she wanted short hair, and I was going to give her about shoulder length,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little longer.
Mm.
But curly hair has a mind of its own.
Yeah.
And I was cutting it, and curly hair is forgiving, but it definitely got away from me, and it got shorter than I expected. She was thrilled because she wanted short hair, and I had told her I wasn't going to give it to her, and she was like, "You surprised me," and I was like, "Yeah, I did. I did that on purpose."
Yeah. I like that.
And now she regrets all of those pictures, and I was like, "I told you what short hair with that much curl, what it was going to look like."
Yeah.
And she wanted it.
Yeah, the worst part of this haircut that I got was I'd forgotten that the girl I kind of had a crush on was in my history class, and I actually went to this class because I enjoyed it, but she sat right behind me. So, like, the worst position she possibly, so all she is looking at is my jagged back of my head.
Bless his heart.
It's like, oh, he can't even afford a haircut.
Yeah.
So...
That's
and it's probably true. I probably couldn't afford a haircut at that time. That part,
that's unfortunate.
That part was probably true. So
yeah,
that's what, and that's the school where I learned to do my hustle. Because you never had any money. You're in college. You never had any money.
Yep.
And my dad was a butcher, so he'd give us steaks and stuff like that. And and then I'd turn around and sell them to my coach for beer money. So
gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. So.
I had a friend in high school who went to visit friends and family up in Ohio, and kind of like what you said, all of them had like this very unique haircut that was, he said, really cool in Ohio. I can't believe it was, but he said it was really cool in Ohio, and it was, everything was buzzed but the bangs. So you just had like the bang bump on the forehead.
Sounds horrible.
That's it. And everything
There's no
else
way that was
buzzed.
cool.
I know. I think they really did it just to punk him because he got the haircut because it was like so cool there. And he comes back down to Florida and walks into our house. And I'm like, what in the actual hell happened to your head?
Did you lose a bet?
Exactly. The worst part was he typically had long hair and it was gorgeous. It was like 90s grunge, but he wasn't grunge, but he had the long hair. And it was awesome. I would just sit there and play with his hair. And then he comes back with that abomination. And after the reaction he got at my house, he went home and buzzed it off.
Yeah.
No more bang bump for him.
Yeah. No, I mean, and this haircut was so bad. I mean, I carved my number in my head one time just to make my coach mad. And then painted it like blue, because that was our colors.
Yeah.
Just to kind of take off, I don't know if you guys realize this, but when I was younger, I was a little bit rebellious.
No.
Yeah. I know it's a little shocking.
That's not Troy.
It's a little shocking, but yeah, but Aunt Donna, love you. So
Love you, Aunt Donna.
You still win.
Thanks for the story.
Yeah.
It's time now for a quick check the weather.
Thunder and lightning.
Nice. That quick check the weather brought to you by Bin 39. Discover one of St. Augustine's best kept secrets. Bin 39 tucked inside St. George Inn at the north end of St. George Street with over 95 boutique wines, 50 of them rated 90 points or higher by Robert Parker. It's the perfect spot for a romantic date night or a relaxing after work unwind. Sit by the glass or bottle in the serene courtyard setting and enjoy live music Thursday through Sunday. Open daily, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Just stop on by and say, I'll have what Irving's having. Bin 39, your taste to discover.
Yeah, we need to do a night there when you and Louie have a night free and we can escape. We need to do it.
We should definitely do a
It's so nice.
hangout.
So nice there at Bin 39.
I'll text you. All right, Blake.
Text me.
We got Hit the Blake's traffic.
Traffic.
Moving pretty good though.
Yeah, 95 is looking pretty well. So lots of semis, so do be careful.
Yeah.
All right, that's it.
I mean,
It is a little wet out there.
a little wet, not too bad.
But,
Moist.
but nothing too moist though. Well, actually, except for the left lane going northbound though, that's like very dark. So that must be very moist.
I don't know. Or something spilled on it.
A single moist lane.
Yeah.
I mean, look at it. There's
It is. It's a different color.
It does
I see what
seem
you're
like
saying.
a tanker truck wet its plants.
Yeah. Something. What something?
All right. Climb aboard Old Town Trolley and experience over 500 years of history in the heart of St. Augustine. This fully narrated 90-minute tour features 22 convenient stops and covers more than 100 points of interest, including iconic landmarks like the Castillo de San Marcos, Fountain of Youth, and Flagler's Historic Hotel. With open-air views and all-day hop-on, hop-off access, it's the most fun and flexible way to explore the nation's oldest city. Your tickets also include free admission to the St. Augustine History Museum, and local St. Johns County residents ride free with a full fare guest through the Hometown Pass program. Sign up today at hometownpass.com. Old Town Trolley, the best way to see St. Augustine, one stop at a time. All right, going to move into the news. St. Johns County decides against new ordinance for e-bikes, will enforce state laws already in place. After weeks of discussions, St. Johns County commissioners have decided not to adopt stricter local rules for e-bike riders, opting instead for a resolution encouraging safety and education. The proposed regulations would have banned e-bikes on unincorporated county roads and sidewalks before sunrise and after sunset, and limited their speed to 10 miles per hour on pedestrian paths. Riders would have also been required to install turn signals and horns on their bikes. But during Tuesday's meeting, commissioners backed away from those changes, citing enforcement challenges for the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office. Adding chasing e-bikers around, I can only imagine the nightmare that's going to be, said Commissioner Clay Murphy. Commissioners acknowledged recent concern after 2 e-bike crashes involving children earlier this month, but ultimately agreed that education, not enforcement, is the better solution. There are already rules of the road, said Commissioner Sarah Arnold. It comes down to a parenting issue, and I'd like to see alternative solutions instead of more laws we can't enforce. Arnold added she'd support additional funding for the sheriff's office to expand e-bike safety outreach across the community. The vote leaves existing state e-bike regulations in place, while the county ramps up public education efforts instead of enacting new local laws. It's almost like the commissioners watch our show.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds exactly like what the sheriff said on our show.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he was saying it other places, but we're taking credit.
Yeah, we will. Why not?
We're taking,
It was
you know.
here.
Thanks, Sheriff.
We've got the video.
Yeah. we got the shorts and
Yeah.
the YouTube and everything.
Exactly.
So
I mean, this is kind of like what we talked about. We talked about, there are laws in place already, public education efforts, parents taking accountability for their kids and keeping them off of these things would be the route that we all discussed.
Mhm.
It's the best way to move forward at this time.
yeah, I mean, it was what they had in place, and I appreciate them looking at it and coming to the right conclusion. What we have in place is, probably what is best for them to be able to enforce. I felt like the new law would have the Karens out there going, he's not wearing a helmet. I can just
Yeah.
see the neighborhood,
Mhm.
that HOA crowd
Yeah.
that no one
The
like.
retiree that just wants to talk
Yeah.
to someone, sits there with their binoculars.
Yeah,
and
that just
reports everyone.
learned how to use their camera phone, and
Yeah.
so yeah, no, I hope I never have to go back to an HOA, but I can just see this one's a CDD and HOA, so it's got the double whammy on it
Yeah, it
with
does.
Nakati. So
Gracious.
good job coming up with it. That's good governing. So.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes the answer is not to just add another law.
Correct.
Sometimes it's to actually pay attention to the existing laws.
Yep,
So,
and
good on you.
parents put it on the parents, and I like the Sarah Arnold, Commissioner Arnold saying the education portion of it that could help, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Nothing really helped me at 14.
What did help at 14?
Not much, not
Okay.
much at all. Yeah, near deaths sometimes helped.
Yeah, on
So,
occasion.
there was a couple of them, but I still kept having near death experiences.
Yeah.
Not my fault. It was Chris Carroll's fault.
Exactly.
He's calling you out.
Nice. All right. St. Johns County teens death spurs federal language proficiency bill. The St. Johns County Commission is taking action to support a proposed federal law aimed at improving roadway safety. On Tuesday, commissioners voted to send a letter to Washington, D.C. in support of Connor's Law, a bill that would permanently require truck drivers to pass an English language proficiency test to obtain a commercial driver's license. The law is named after Connor Zion, an 18-year-old Creekside High School graduate who was killed in 2017 in a crash on I-95. He was struck while sitting in stopped traffic by a semi-truck driver who investigators say couldn't understand road signs warning of the backup. Please don't let one more mother have to bury her 18-year-old son, said Melissa Zion, Connor's mother, who spoke before the board. Federal law already requires basic English proficiency for truck drivers, but a Trump-era executive order added a formal test. That's what Connor's law, sponsored by Rep. David Taylor of Ohio and Rep. Harriet Hagman of Wyoming, seems to make permanent through legislation. Commissioner Christian Whitehurst voiced strong support for the bill, emphasizing that it's not about immigration, but about safety on the road. You've got to be able to read these digital signs in order for us all to be safe, he said. The county's letter of support will be sent to members of Congress, including the bill's sponsors, as part of a push to fast-track Connor's law into federal law. I think this is good work. I think they're doing a good thing.
I think so. And it's not, that they're targeting foreign drivers or anything like that. All they're saying is we want you to know the basics so that you keep everyone safe around you and yourself. I mean, it's, unfortunately, it was a local high school who lost his life, which is absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
But, it also keeps the drivers safe if they can't read what's going on. I mean, it's so I'm sure some enemies against this bill are saying, "Oh, it's being prejudiced or something like that."
One of the phobias or whatever.
No, it's not. It's not at all. It's we're just trying to keep them safe and everyone in their surroundings safe. So, I like this one.
Yeah, I agree. Good work, commissioners. We like this one. All right, Gas Buddy Gas Report. Tell us in the comments what gas prices are looking like around you. We've got Sunoco at $21.99 North Ponce at $2.84. Shell on King Street is at $2.87. Owens on South Ponce is $2.89. So is Shell at $2.16 Ponce de Leon Boulevard. Mobil and Circle K at South Ponce is at $2.89 as well. Sunoco South Ponce de Leon Boulevard also $2.89. So is the Shell on North Ponce de Leon Boulevard. Circle K at $2.07 is $2.96. A1A Discount Beverage is back on the list at $2.99. And Circle K on US 1 North is $3.01. Great goodness. All right, that Gas Buddy Gas Report is brought to you by Chris Lucero Bail Bonds. Trouble with the law? Call the name St. Augustine has trusted for years. Chris Lucero Bail Bonds, available 24/7. Their experienced and compassionate team works fast to get you or your loved one out of jail and back home. From paperwork to release, they make the process simple, discreet, and stress-free. No judgment, just help when you need it most. When time matters, remember the name and number Chris Lucero Bail Bonds at 904-822-BAIL. That's 904-822-2245. Our live music report today, we've got Jim Lamb at Milltop Tavern at noon. Words and Music series, Skin and Bones with Chris Castle at St. Augustine Waterworks, 1 o'clock. Edwin Barbosa is at Bin 39 Wine Bar starting at 1 p.m. She-Fay Marina Munch, 2 p.m. Smoke and Joe Shower at Backyard Island Cafe at Meehan's, 3 p.m. Brett Blackshear is at Bin 39 at 4 p.m. Mike Cook at Guy Harvey Resort, 5 p.m. Benny Jacobs, Hurricane Grill and Wings, also 5. Dave Watt Beasley at Oasis Deck and Restaurant, also 5 p.m. Sue Seymour Westcott is also, they're probably playing together, actually, Dave and Sue. They're in a band together. So they're playing together at Oasis Deck and Restaurant at 5 p.m. Trevor Compton, St. Augustine Shores Golf Club, 5 p.m. Bill Sabo, O.C. White's Restaurant, also 5 p.m. Buffalo Rose at Fusion 904 Eateries at 5:30. Doug Hyde, a.k.a. The Duggernaut, is at Marina Munch, 6 p.m. Concerts in the Plaza. J.C. Hatfield Trio at Plaza de la Constitucion, 6 p.m. Sarah Herford, Hilton, St. Augustine Historic Bayfront, also 6. Baby Gray is at Pesca Villano by Michael Lugo, also 6. So are the Space Heaters at Prohibition Kitchen and Claremont Duo at Pierre's Pub. Vegas Gray is at Tradewinds Lounge, closing us out at 9 p.m. That music report is brought to you by Fidus Roofing. When it comes to protecting your home, trust the local experts at Fidus Roofing and Construction, voted best of St. Augustine every year since 2012. Whether it's emergency repairs or full roof replacements, Fidus delivers expert shingle and metal installations using top-tier materials like the GAF Lifetime Roofing System, all backed by strong warranties and GAF Master Elite certification. Fidus Roofing, 904-355-ROOF.
They do pavers
And gutters. Yeah.
Florida Legislature gives green light for money to redesign International Golf Parkway exit off I-95. One of the busiest and most congested intersections in St. Johns County is now one step closer to a major overhaul. What could go wrong, guys?
Yeah.
The International Golf Parkway exit off I-95 has seen a surge in traffic thanks to massive retail growth, including Costco and Bass Pro Shops, and possibly soon a Super Walmart. But with that boom has come backups and crashes. State Representative Kim Kendall, who flagged the issue even before her election, has secured $2.5 million in state funding for the design phase off complete exit redesign. The Florida Department of Transportation plans to separate retail traffic from neighborhood and school-bound vehicles, an approach aimed at easing congestion and improving safety. Kendall says the current situation is dangerous and this funding is critical for keeping up with growth. The next step, a $10 million federal request for construction funds. If approved, work could begin by summer 2028, with completion expected by 2031. All right. We saw what an amazing job they did at 16.
Oh, yeah. No, it's they're just doing fine work here on the roads in St. Johns County.
Yes.
So, no, I mean, they just get it done. I mean, the problem is they seem to last forever.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows you got to have this done, and it's going to make it a little more inconvenient.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, St. Johns County is what Jacksonville was 20 years ago. It's like it was always under road construction somewhere. And that's what it feels like now, like the last 3 or 4 years, and probably is going to feel that way for a couple more.
Yeah.
So
I like it.
And I'm not the reason this time. So I closed down a couple of roads when I did some hotels, but it wasn't my fault this time.
Not quite.
Yeah.
Speaking of Bass Pro Shops, so my kids have noticed that it took less time to build the actual Bass Pro Shop store than it is taking to build the Bass Pro Shop sign. Have you noticed that?
I have not. I stay in a pretty tight circle.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going out of my circle, I'm going somewhere to do a vacation or something like that. I don't venture too far.
Bass Pro Shops, it was up and it was stocked real quick. That sign is still up there and it's just baby stepping its way.
Yeah.
It's just white right now. You got the rough outline.
I wonder if they got the store approved but didn't get the sign approved.
Maybe.
And it's just caught up in some permitting
it must be
circle of death.
Right now it's just a white panel. White panel with a little roof line. All right.
Yeah. So basically, I believe this was the original design that Representative Kendall submitted to FDOT for the INET for the exit. So it basically looks like if you're going west on International Golf Parkway, you'll be going around and into like a new loop onto I-95 southbound.
So. Yeah, no. This is why I don't go places. I would be so lost. I'd be like a European vacation.
Yeah.
Parliament, Big Ben.
Kids, Big Ben.
Parliament, Big Ben, kids.
Or me trying to navigate you through Atlanta.
Oh yeah. Blake will tell me a half a mile past where I was supposed to turn. Oh yeah, he's supposed to turn at exit 22, and we're on like 24 at this point. So.
My family also has legendary experiences trying to navigate through. Well, my parents anyway, when we were kids.
Yeah.
Woo.
Atlanta's not my friend when it comes to travel. So it just is not my friend.
It's not my friend either. I don't like it. I'll avoid it at all costs.
Yep.
All right. St. Augustine is close to finishing a $1.35 million City Hall waterproofing project. A critical preservation project is nearly complete at one of St. Augustine's most iconic buildings, though you may not have even noticed that it's happening. The city of St. Augustine says it's just 2 months away from finishing a $1.35 million waterproofing project at the Alcazar building, which houses City Hall and the Leitner Museum. The work, funded through a state grant, involves applying a special water repellent material to protect the nearly 150-year-old coquina structure from further water damage. Officials say the building, made of a rare mix of concrete and shells, absorbs moisture easily, so cracks and crumbling have worsened over time. Barb Moore, the city's deputy director of general services, says without this effort, the building could literally start to fall apart. Because of concerns from historians about altering the look of the historic site, no major restoration has ever been done until now. Once work wraps on the City Hall side, the city plans to waterproof the Leitner Museum side next. The coating is expected to protect the building for at least 10 years, and city leaders hope it will inspire other coastal communities to take similar action to protect their history. All right.
All right. First off, I don't think the building's going anywhere. I do think they have to preserve the building.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same technology that Flagler College is made out of, the Ponce Hotel and the Zareta Castle. It's probably good because, it's got coquina. It's a poured concrete coquina.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be porous.
Yeah.
So it actually exists. The ground floor of the cigar building is porous.
Mm-hmm.
So when it floods, I can block all the doors I want, but it still seeps through that ground floor. So it is porous. And if you get water in certain areas, it could create some cracking. So good job saving the building, but the building wasn't going to fall down. So I don't want people thinking in the building that the building structurally was it was in this type of shape. It's going to be okay. So
all right. Well, they're doing their job.
No, it's good to take care of the history. I'm not poo-pooing it at all, but don't say the building's going to fall.
The sky is falling.
Yeah,
we must do this right this moment.
Yeah, it needed to be done, but come on, we don't have to have that.
All right.
So
paint the building with the waterproofing material, but maybe tamp down the rhetoric, according to Troy.
Yeah, tamp down the rhetoric a little bit. I agree. Right. I agree it needed to be done, but don't chicken little us.
All right. St. Johns County man sues Universal, claims he was stuck on Harry Potter ride for over an hour. A St. Johns County man is suing Universal Orlando Resort, claiming he was left stuck midair for over an hour on the Harry Potter-themed ride. According to the lawsuit, Casey Causey says he was riding the Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey on July 2nd, 2023, when the attraction came to an abrupt stop, leaving him tilted backward and to the right in midair for nearly 60 minutes.
Well, that was below.
The lawsuit suggests a power outage caused the issue and accuses Universal of failing to maintain proper backup generators and of allowing guests to board a ride with known defects. Causey claims the experience left bodily injury, emotional distress, and worsened a pre-existing condition, citing pain, loss of income, and medical expenses among the damages. He's seeking $50,000 in compensation. Universal has declined a comment, citing pending litigation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, getting stuck on a ride is not fun.
It's not fun.
No.
It's not fun. Then it sounds like it was in an awkward position, and it's just not fun. But wow, it's one way to get your money back from Universal. He's probably spent that in that weekend. So
that's just barely going to cover the bills.
Yeah. It covers the weekend. That's it.
Have you ever gotten stuck on a ride in an unfortunate way?
At the fairgrounds, I have. I never at any of the major parks. I don't think so. And I think we got stuck on one of the gondolas at Cedar Point for a little bit. It just kind of stopped and locked down.
Yeah.
But you're sitting you're in a comfortable position, so it wasn't bad. And I don't think it was too long. I think it was like 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
So we just barely convinced my little kids to try Haunted Mansion.
Uh-huh.
And They liked it, but they were still, they were kind of spooked at a couple of parts.
Mhm.
And we definitely got stuck. I mean, it's air conditioned, you're in the shade, like, yay. But we got stuck in Haunted Mansion for so long in the cemetery, right where there's only a couple of actually scary looking things in all of Haunted Mansion. And we were stuck right next to one of those like melting head skull things that pop up just at random intervals. And everything was dead except for that freaking skull. And it kept popping up. And my kids were freaking out. They were so upset. So they're like buried underneath my shirt and my arms, and I'm saving them from the skull. And meanwhile, I'm like, okay, AC, not so bad.
Yeah.
But the kids were traumatized. We didn't go back on Haunted Mansion for a little while.
I think it was Haunted Mansion that, and you talk about that. I think it was Haunted Mansion that they actually had to unload the ride one time when I was like in high school, like a grad night or something like that. And I remember walking through the little thing, which I thought was cooler than the ride.
That's really cool, though.
Cooler than the ride itself.
Yeah.
But I think that happened at my grad night. Now that I think, I had a couple sips. What? Yeah, it was bland. It was bland. So, but I mean, we actually got to walk through, and it was like, this is pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
You know.
So I would have enjoyed that. My kids would have been horrified.
It would have been awful. It would have been awful. But all of us were in high school, so it was like no little kids. But I remember, like, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. It was one of those rides that you sat down in and your chair spun around, and they came to each individual one and kind of unlocked it and let you out and said, okay, we need you to walk in this direction.
Yeah.
And then they shut it down for the rest of the night.
Can you ride it now without seeing like the hidden paths?
No, I can tell you, I don't remember it enough to, Yeah. It was over 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I once was on Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, which was converted to the Pooh Ride. So at this point it was the Pooh Ride, but we had to get walked off of the Pooh Ride once.
Yeah.
I don't know what the problem with the Pooh Ride was, but we had to walk off of it. My kids had waited in that stinking line for 45 minutes.
Nothing like a bad poo.
We just got right through the door and we were just about into the real ride. And we had to walk off, and they were not happy. That cost me ice cream money.
That would do it. And a tip.
How do you want to check the comments?
On this Thursday, I will thunderously throttle through the thoughtful commentary.
All right, that throttle is brought to you by B&S Signs. Want your business to get noticed and stay that way? Turn to B&S Signs, proudly family-owned and serving St. Augustine for over 50 years. From bold vinyl lettering to towering pylon signs, they specialize in high-quality custom signage built to last. Their expert team handles everything: design, installation, crane service, repairs, and maintenance with fast, responsive service that keeps your sign looking sharp. Make a lasting impression with B&S Signs. Visit bnssigns.com, because when it comes to signs, they do it all. And St. Augustine Handy House. Need a customer prefab portable building that's built to last? Come to St. Augustine Handy House, proudly owned by Troy Usina Enterprises and serving the community since 1988. With over 70 structures in stock, from sheds to barns to carports and offices, you'll find the perfect fit for your needs. Every building comes with free delivery, leveling, and anchoring, plus easy financing options to fit your budget. Visit them on State Road 16, open Monday through Saturday, or call 904-823-9092. St. Augustine Handy Houses, where quality meets convenience. All right. Comments report.
All right, comments report. First off, everybody loves your earrings.
Thank you.
You got that going for you today. Wawa jumped up to $3.19, but Costco stayed at $2.69. Thank you, Tim, for that. Joy Marie, she needs a new hairstylist. Her hairstylist broke up with her. No, she went there and the hairstylist wasn't there anymore. Now she needs a new hairstylist. So Joy, good luck with that.
I'll drop one in the comments.
There you go. 90s Fest. People were asking about if we're talking about 90s Fest. We're not talking about it because it's kind of still an ongoing thing. It has been, I understand, rescheduled again.
Okay.
And I did see something from that group that they're supposed to be doing refunds, and it should happen before June 14th. We'll see if that actually plays out.
Okay.
And then that way we'll probably hit that story again. Blake, and people are wondering if it's the Sahara dust that's getting you or the Canadian fires, because it's got to be one of the two.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I just want it to end. I just wanted to stop. I'm running out of tissues that I can blow my nose into. My saline spray's about to run out. I keep drinking water, but it doesn't work. I need help, man.
Do we have an isolation chamber? One of those like float in the water, sensory deprivation.
We need to get a sponsor like that just for these occasions.
Exactly.
So
keep Blake safe. All right. Do we have a Stordom stat?
Today's Stordom stat is in 1968. It is when RFK actually was shot outside the Ambassador Hotel in LA. And he was shot by Sirhan Sirhan. It was in a kind of a little hidden map type thing. And he was shot only from about a foot away. 5 other people, he just kept shooting. The 2 people that was beside RFK were famous athletes. One of them was a gold medalist, Rayford Johnson, and the other one was an all-pro football player, Rosie Greer. And they took down Sirhan almost immediately. But Rosie Greer suffered, and he felt like it was his fault that Kennedy got shot because he was so close to him. Yeah. And like the rest of his life, he struggled with this situation. Still was an amazing football player and continued to play in his NFL, but it was always a struggle for him after that day, even though they were the ones that took him down.
Wow. I'm sorry to hear that. The Stordom stat brought to you by St. Augie's Pizza, downtown St. Augustine, right on the corner of Riberia and MLK. Get yourself a slice today. Look at it. It's delicious. There it is. Look at it.
I'm having lunch there today.
Ooh. Go meet Troy at St. Augie's Pizza.
Yeah.
We have plugs today.
See me. Plugs, we have Bollocks tonight, and on Bollocks, the second half of the show, we're going to be talking about weird and strange pardons that have changed the world within the U.S. And all the different ones that are happening right now and in recent years. So it should
Lenny's going to have thoughts.
Oh, Lenny's already got thoughts. So
many thoughts.
Yeah. So.
All right. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube and our Rumble. Check out Bollocks tonight. We will see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.